What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back with another Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon Alpha Sapphire and today's challenge will be can I beat Pokemon Alpha Sapphire Hardcore Nuzlocke using only shiny Stone Evolution Pokemon. So we've done this in the past with different regions. Now we want to run through the rules real quick of this video. So essentially it's a Hardcore Nuzlocke using only Stone Evolution Pokemon. So Pokemon that eventually evolves to Stone through their lineage, and final evolution will be a Stone Evolution, all that. Now the fun part is I have to immediately evolve them once I'm able to. So for example, Lotec, when it evolves into Lombre, I have to immediately evolve Lombre into Ludicolo, keeping the moves and locking down the moveset forever. If you guys don't know, Stone Evolution Pokemon don't learn any new moves in the older version of Pokemon. In the newer version they do, but these ones, they don't learn any new moves. So the moves we get are gonna be terrible, and that's what's gonna make it really fun. On top of that, we can only catch one Pokemon per route. Obviously you have to evolve by a Stone Evolution. There's a death counter. If Pokemon ever faints, they're dead. Gotta release them, gotta get rid of them. There's also level cap, which is gonna be the highest level on each gym leader's team. Also on top of that, we can't use items inside of battle. We can use hell items, but no potions and all that. And also we must play on set mode, so it's gonna be pretty difficult. But one fun rule I have is gonna be each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thanks so much for leaving a comment in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after your future Pokemon, just drop in the comments and hopefully I pick yours. And while it's down there, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, let's get into the challenge video itself. So to begin off, there's no starter Pokemon that evolves by Stone in this game. The other games there's Eevee, but you know what? Don't get into the semantics. Anyways, we get through the tutorial in the beginning part as we head into Route 102, which is going to be access two new Pokemon. We can only catch one of them, but two Pokemon we can get, which is going to be Routes and also Lotad. Now, I actually prefer getting Routes here because it's the only route you can get Routes. Male Routes is really important. Fortunately, as luck will have it, we did not get Routes, we get Lotad. So that means Routes is crossed off, we can never get Gallade, and that's one last Pokemon for us. But that should be fine, we should be fine with it. So we catch ourselves a Lotad, we add it to our team, which is really nice. We almost lost against this Team Aqua members, so that could have been bad. Yeah, we almost lose a lot of times, but you know what? Lotad survives. From there, we evolve Lotad into a Lombre that, the rules. Lombre evolves into Ludicolo. Now, normally I love Ludicolo. I actually got to Master Rank in Sword and Shield with Ludicolo. Unfortunately, this is the moveset. Astonish, Growl, Absorb, Bubble. Bubble? Come on, bro. I couldn't get Water Gun or anything. Anyways, that is my moveset. Lucky enough, it's doable as it's a fully evolved Pokemon, and we're going to face off against Roxanne, the Rock-type gym leader. So we should be fine. As we face off against her Geodude, we're going to Bubble into it, and then she's going to Rock Tomb. I don't get slower than her at any point until the very last turn. So we can two-shot the Geodude. Her next one will be a Nose Pass. It also goes for a few Rock Tombs. I still outspeed it. So I'm able to just chip down the Nose Pass and then eventually knock him out in a couple hits. So we end up beating down Roxanne and getting our first gym badge in the game. Unfortunately for us, there's no new Pokemon, so we have to manage our XP a lot better as we head into Dewford Island's gym. On the very last trainer, we almost get past the level markers. That could have been really bad, but we didn't. From there, we could face off against Brawly next. Brawly's the second gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Ludicolo. Now, Ludicolo goes for a simple bubble. Two bubbles will knock out a Machop. And yeah, the fight's pretty over. Two-shot the Makuhita as well with bubble. As we beat down Brawly and then get ourselves the second gym badge. Now, moving on, we're going to face off against May on Route 111 or something like that. Almost lose to her. Lucky enough, her Combustion goes for Sand Attack on this turn. And yeah, if it went for Flame Charge, it would have knocked me out. But you know what? It didn't. We beat down May, and we can secure that. We can head into Route 113, 112, something like that, on the west side of Marlboro City, which we can start shiny hunting out here. Two different Pokemon. We really want Roselia, but there's an Oddish you could get out here as well. Lucky enough, we got what we needed. We get ourselves a shiny Roselia. That means that's not the greatest either because it doesn't have any great moves. It has Mega Drain, it has Stun Spore, and Poison Sting and Grow. Grow is actually pretty good. So you know what? We could evolve Roselia into a Roserade and have a lot of good luck with it because it has growth. So from there, we have face off against Watson next. Watson's going to be the third gym leader in the game. We'll start the battle off against him using my Roserade, and we get paralyzed immediately. But we get some growths off as he goes out into his Magneton. Don't want to get a confusion, so I'm going to just try my best to knock out the Magneton as I do get confused, but lucky enough, Mega Drain would knock out the Magneton. As from there, her next two Pokemon are pretty easy. Her Magnemite comes out again, both switch into me as a Mega Drain and one-shot the Voltorb, as her final Pokemon will be a Magnemite. I two-shot it. We end up being down Watson pretty easily, and there's not much there. We also face off against Archie on top of Mount Pyre, which, you know what, was pretty easy, and we can move on and face off against the next gym in the game. We're gonna face off against Flannery. Flannery's gonna be the 4th gym leader in the game, and we do have a Sea Instance on my Ludicolo. We should be fine as we face off against her Slugma to bubble and knock him out in one shot. Her next opponent will be a Torkoal, which actually sets up Sun for us, and we don't one-shot it. It could have got difficult, but it didn't, so we're gonna two-shot him still. We knock out the Torkoal as her final opponent will be a Numo, 4 times weak to bubble. We're gonna knock him out. So we ended up beating down Flannery, getting ourselves the 4th gym badge in the game, and there's not much in between. We just get teleported back into Petalbrick City and face off against Norman. Now Norman's gonna be a little more difficult. This is where it gets a little more difficult. We're gonna start the battle off against him using my Ludicolo to actually growl into him. We want to get 6 growls into him to eventually lower him to the lowest attack point possible. And then from there, we can go out to my Roserade. Roserade is able to go for a Stun Spore off against him and then go for 6 growls. Now, it doesn't matter if he attacks me or not. He has lower attack stat, so I could just Mega Drain all the damage off eventually. And eventually I do. Works out pretty well for us. We have +6 and then one-shot the Slacking. As from there, his next one will be a Vigoroth, which I'm just going to go out and just Mega Drain. I outspeed him, knock out the Vigoroth, as his final opponent will be his own primary Slacking, which we one-shot and outspeed. So we end up beating down Norman in 3 shots. Don't count the other turns. 18, 20 turns, you know what, it's fine. As we beat down Norman and we can move on. From there, we're going to move on to the Weather Fortress, face off against Shelly, all that, and then we can start shiny hunting out here in 113, which is going to be pretty cool. There's only one Pokemon for us, which is going to be Gloom. We can catch Gloom, and that means we immediately evolve it as well. We can evolve into Vileplume or Bellossom, and I think I've had more success with Bellossom in the past, so I'm going to choose Bellossom, but I think that's because I could choose the moves. This Bellossom has Sleep Powder, Poison Powder, Stun Spore, and Mega Drain, so it's going to be pretty interesting as we evolved the Gloom into a Bellossom. And you can also see on my team that there's a big glaring weakness. There is a flying weakness, and the next gym in the game is a flying type gym leader. Of course it works out that way. So we face up against Winona, the flying type gym leader with 3 grass Pokemon. So what we have to do is get creative. We're going to do the exact same thing we did before, which is the opposite of being creative. But we go out to my Ludicolo to growl into the Swallow's face and then survive a few hits, eventually growling him down. And it works out with my Citrus Berry, and then I get him down to actually like no damage at all. Luckily enough, it doesn't crit on me. Unfortunately, it got 2 double teams up, so I got to really think about that later on. But Stun Spore, I landed the Stun Spore on my first attempt against him using my Rosary, and then grow 3 times against him, and I'm like, you know what, I'm really risking it here. I eventually get +5 and then Mega Drain into him, and I really risked it here. But Mega Drain would knock out the Swallow, and then from there I could get 1 more growth off against the Pelipper, and then one-shot him with the following turn. As from there, her next Pokemon will be a Skarmory, which I two-shot into her. And then from there, her final Pokemon will be Altaria, which I was trying to get Poison on because I could get Mega Drain on him, but it has Roost and has all this, so I gotta be very careful. I don't get Poison on him, he's gonna knock me out, so I need to use Mega Drain to get my HP back up. But it actually works out really well for us as we get a crit on the final one and we knock him out. So we end up beating down Winona without losing a single Pokemon. I was fully expecting to lose a Pokemon, most likely Ludicolo, because that thing was just messing around. But from there, we can finally have access to more Pokemon. So we head into the Safari Zone in the game near Lilycove City, and we can start shiny hunting out here. Since we already got Gloom before, so that counts as a repeat encounter, the only Pokemon we can get out here is going to be a shiny Pikachu, which we find, and we're going to catch and add it to my team. Now, unfortunately, Pikachu has no electric moves. That's a special move. All she has is going to be Physical Electric move, Nuzzle and Spark. So that's gonna be great as my Pikachu evolves into a Raichu. And then from there, we're gonna head into Mount Pyre, get ourselves a shiny Vulpix, which actually has the best moveset out of everything on my team. So we're gonna catch the Vulpix, evolve the Vulpix into a Ninetales. It has Flame Burst, Extra Sensory, and everything else doesn't really matter. But you know what? Those are good moves. From there, we're gonna face off against a rival in Lilycove City, and we're my really good team, really garbage moveset. So it works out for us as our team's able to pivot around. We have enough coverage for us, and we're gonna chip down everyone, beat down May, and then head into the Team Aqua hideout, which we cleared through pretty easily. Surprisingly, Ludicolo holds up pretty well with Absorb as a move, so we're able to chip down everyone and then eventually beat down all the Team Aqua members out here and face off against Tate and Liza in their gym in Mossdeep City. We're gonna start the battle off against Tate and Liza using my Ludicolo and also Bellossom. Now, Bellossom has Mega Drain, it makes sense, but Ludicolo has Bubble, which is actually a multi-hitting move, so we're gonna use that as we're gonna knock out the Sorok first. That's my primary objective. However, the Lunatone gets some Calm Minds up and is surviving some of my moves. Actually chipped down my Ludicolo to half HP. Kinda scary, so I gotta switch out my Ludicolo, go out to my Ninetales against him, and then take my Psychic. From there, I can Hex into the Lunatone and Mega Drain into him as well. Eventually chip him down to the point where I can just Hex once again to knock him out. As we beat down Tate and Liza, which, you know, could got scary, but you know what, it worked out pretty well for us. From there, we're going to move on into Shoal Cave, which is going to be the ice cave that's available to us north of Moss Deep City. We're going to start shiny hunting out here for snow runs. Now, I want to not lie to you guys, but I did get 2 shiny male snow runs, and I'm like, I can't use that for the video, so I'm gonna cut it out. But I did get 2 shiny male snow runs before I got a shiny female snow run, which I can use for the video. I'm gonna catch the female snow run, add it to my team, and then evolve it into a Frostlass because some reason it has to be female. But we evolve it into a female Frostlass, and then from there face off against Primal Kyogre. And my team is pretty solid, so I'm not too scared about this at all. So we start the battle off against Kyogre using my Bellossom to go for Stun Spore. I could have gone for Sleep Powder, but I survived the Origin Post easily, and that's from in the rain too. It does have Ice Beam, so I gotta switch out though. So I got to my Roserade, and Roserade is able to just chip down, knock out the Kyogre pretty easily. And then we're gonna face off against Wallace next. Wallace is the 8th and final gym leader in the game. We're gonna start the battle off against him using my Bellossom for some reason. Bellossom eventually falls in love and gets confused by the Love Disc, but I am able to chip him down and get a Stun Spore off against him, go out into my Roserade, and get the same treatment. But lucky enough, Roserade gets a few growths up, and then from there, he gets chipped down to low HP, which could have gotten really bad, but lucky enough, I land the Mega Drain on like my last leg, and then knock out the Love Disc, get my HP back up. His next Pokemon is going to be a Milotic, which you kind of tell where this is going. I can outspeed him and then one-shot him. I do outspeed him. I don't one-shot him, but I two-shot him and then knock him out, which is fine. From there, his next Pokemon will be a Wishcast, which I one-shot as well. His next Pokemon after that will be a Celio. I one-shot that thing, and his final Pokemon will be a Seaking. I one-shot that thing as well, and we beat down Wallace, get ourselves the 8th gym badge in the game, and now we can move on and face off against Wally, clear down Wally and Victory Road in one swoop, and then make our final adjustments. This is my team looking. I don't know why I show this, but you can see on the right side anyways. From there, we're going to face off against Sydney first. We're going to start the battle off against Sydney using my Roserade. Now, Roserade, again, is kind of broken. It goes for growths against the Mightyena. It gets Swagger, so that means I have actually a plus attack stat, and it's actually can come in handy. I Stun Spore the Mightyena and then chip him down as I go for a few more growths, and then Mega Drain to get my HP back up against him, as the next one will be a Shift Tree. I go for Poison Stings against him, and Poison Sting does so much damage, it hits him down to half HP and also gets him poisoned and a 2-shot into him to knock him out. So we ended up beating down the Shift Tree, as the next one will be an Absol. I go for Mega Drain to knock him out in one shot, Mega Drain into the Sharpedo to one-shot it, and then from there his final Pokemon will be a Cacturn. I go for Poison Sting, he goes for Spiky Shield, whatever. I 2-shot into him with my Poison Sting as we knock him out, as we beat down Cindy. Really fun fight. From there, we're gonna move on and face off against Phoebe next. We're gonna start the battle off against Phoebe. This is my Frostlass, which we haven't used the entire time. Frostlass only has physical moves, so you can see where this is going. Frostlass is going for bites against the Dusclops. It's getting pretty sad out here, guys. From there, I get confused. I get switched out into my Raichu paralyzed down the Dusclops, and then from there, I also get confused on it. So from there, I go for a few Sparks and then go out into my Roserade. Roserade is going to go for a few growths and then Mega Drain into him. You have to take a Future Sight in a little bit. So as I get my Mega Drain off against the Bayonet, I secure enough HP to survive the Future Sight. And then from there, I can growth one more time against the Bayonet and then knock him out with a Mega Drain to get my HP back up. From there, her next Pokemon will be a Dusclops, which a 2-shot with Mega Drain and survive a Fire Punch pretty easily. Roserade's just a tank, Jesus. From there, I go for a Mega Drain and knock out the Sableye, and then her final Pokemon will be a Bayonet, which I go for a Mega Drain and knock him out as well. So we end up beating down Phoebe. As from there, we're gonna move out and face off against Glacia next. Glacia's gonna be the Ice type Elite Four member in the game. We're gonna start the battle off against her using my Ninetales to Flame Burst into the Glalie and 2-shot him, because of course, doesn't one-shot him. Her next Pokemon will be a Wall Ring, which is going to be the scariest thing. Go out to my Ludicolo. I'm just going to bait out some moves. It can go for Hail and then Blizzard into me. So I'm just going to bait out the Blizzards using my Ninetales. Switching in between my Ninetales and also my Ludicolo to dodge the Surf and Blizzard until Blizzard actually runs out of PP. So I can go out to my Bellossom. And then it whips out Sheer Cold. I'm like, okay, yo, we got a timeout. We're going to put it to sleep, and then we're going to chip it down, and then knock him out. So we're not going to play around with Sheer Cold. We're going to make sure it's just asleep. So we're going to eventually knock him out with a few Mega Drains. Her next Pokemon will be a Frostlass, which I go into my own Frostlass, go for a bite, and then I get confused. Every single fight, I've been confused, and I hit myself in confusion. to the point I almost knocked myself out. So from there, I go out into my Raichu. Raichu is able to eventually knock out the Frostlass. Our final Pokemon comes out, which is going to be here, Final Glalie. For Nuzlocke to paralyze it, go out to my Ninetales, take an Ice Shard, and then Flame Burst into him. He doesn't have any full restores left. The Glalie also gets paralyzed, so I'm able to Flame Burst and knock him out. So we end up beating down Glalie and also beating down Glacia. From there, we can move on and face off against Drake next. Drake's the 4th Elite Four member in the game, also the Dragon type one, and finally, Frostlass has something to do as we use Frostlass to start the battle off against her, and then from there, I can go for an Ice Fang to 2-shot into the Altaria, which is really nice because it actually went for Cotton Guard. His next opponent after that will be a Flygon, which I 1-shot and outspeed pretty easily. His next opponent after that will be his Ace Salamence, which I don't really want to mess with. I go out into my Bellossom, and then Bellossom goes for a Stun Sport, go back into my Frostlass and an Ice Fang to knock out the Salamence. His next opponent will be a Flygon. I outspeed him, 1-shot him, and his final opponent will be a Kingdra, which, you know what, I Ice Fang froze him, and then I gotta switch around, so I decided to switch out into my Raichu. Raichu does a bit of damage, but he's gonna actually pop out with a full restore, and then completely dust me with a Surf, so I gotta be very careful as I go out into my Roserade next. Roserade is able to go for a Mega Drain and then chip down the Kingdra, eventually knocking him out as we eventually beat down Drake. And now we can move on into the final battle in the game. We have 1 death because of the Ludicolo during Glacia fight, which I didn't mention, but Glacia did get my Ludicolo earlier. But from there, we can face off against Steven Stone next. We're going to start the battle off against Steven Stone using my Raichu. Now Raichu is able to go for a Nuzzle, paralyze the Skarmory, but it doesn't stay paralyzed. It's kind of annoying. But anyway, we knock out the Skarmory in 3 shots. From there, his next opponent will be an Aggron, which I go for a Nuzzle, hoping to breaking sturdy because I know Raichu's can go down. He actually survives an Earthquake. I'm like, oh, that's not supposed to happen, but you know what? That's fine. I go for a Spark. I go for 2 Sparks. Can eventually knock me out, which is fine. Go out to my Roserade next. Roserade's able to go for a Growth and then chip him down. I dodge an Iron Tail, and then he's gonna Iron Tail me on the second hit, which is fine. I go for Mega Drain to get my HP back up, knock out the Aggron, and knock out the Claydol in 1 shot because this thing could be scary. He goes out to his Cradily next, which I Mega Drain, and he Sludge Bomb is like doing no damage. So I go for +5 and then Mega Drain to knock out the Cradily and 1-shot the Armato as well with Mega Drain. Here comes the Beast though. Here comes the Mega Metagross, and I could have stayed in. I could have Mega Drain and just like take the chip damage, but I decided to go for a Stun Sport. The selfless play of just sacrificing my Roserade, letting my Roserade go down, and then from there I could go out to everyone else. I go out to my Frostlass, hoping this bite would flinch him. It didn't. He's getting Meteor Mash and 1-shot me, so that's pretty bad. Go out to my Ninetales. I don't know why. Oh, I'm here to bait out the Giga Impact, but he misses the Giga Impact on my Bellossom, and I'm like, okay, I gotta chip him down with a Mega Drain now. And it actually works out. I get him to yellow HP with Mega Drains, which is crazy enough. As he knocks on my Bellossom, I go out to my Ninetales. I'm like, oh, I had Hex the whole time. So actually, I don't think I need to sacrifice that many lives. But either way, I go for a Hex, knock out the Metagross for me as we beat down Steven Stone and clear through this battle and clear through the challenge. So we end up beating down Pokemon Alpha Sapphire using only Stone Evolution Pokemon. I think it's a fun challenge because it's like I gotta use terrible moves on decent Pokemon, so it's a balance out. Unfortunately though, we ended up with 5 deaths. You know, my entire team got wiped out by that Metagross. Steven Stone's difficult. You gotta give him that. But either way, that would be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, my name's been Alpha, and I hope you guys all have a great day, and I'm out. Peace.